Hello everybody. I just wanted to give you an update on the collar. I started with the single crochets, 2 to 3 in each stitch. If it looked like it was getting too bunchy, I only put in 2. And then I did 4 rows of double crochet. Of course, I added in increases in various spots. Like I always do, I winged it. If I thought it was like kind of leaning the one way, then I would go back a few stitches and add an extra stitch. So I did 4 rows of double and then the double crochet chain one. I also did some increases here instead of skipping a space like right here. Like right here, you could tell I skipped a space. Here I didn't. And it does make it a little bigger. Only down here then, wherever you skipped a space, wherever you did not skip a space, you put a chain 2 instead of a chain 1. Like here you could see it a little bit. But then I did two more rows of double crochet and I did double crochet chain 1 here. That's what I'm working on now. And then it's going to be another row of double crochet chain 1 and 2 more rows of double. And then I'm going to get started with the yellow. If I don't, I might just do the bottom here and put the little edge on the bottom here because this does want to curl. Does want to curl up. And I guess I don't know if I mentioned it. I knitted down to here and I did this in crochet because it's a little bit thicker. The single crochets I thought would be a little thicker and sturdier. The way those waistbands used to, the drop waist skirt would look, it always looked like it was very thick material. So yeah, I'm gonna I might just do the double crochet and then double crochet chain 1 space down here and then put some yellow over it. I got to see what I'm going to do with that yellow, but I know I'm adding it in there. And I had to go out today. And this is pertinent because, yes, the dress is finished, the main part of the dress. I had to go out today, and the road was closed. So I had to go all the way around, and I was kind of annoyed, but I saw the sign, yarn. I was like, yarn, and something M yarn. I was like, oh boy, I got to check that out. So I went where I had to go. There was Goodwill there, so I did look in there. I didn't find anything, and I checked it out, the sign. I've just put in yarn stores near me, and I found the Ministry of Yarn. Established 2025. I didn't even know it was there. But I went in there, and I looked around. The lady in there is so nice. And one thing I found, size 9 double pointed needles, which I have been looking for forever. I know I probably have a set somewhere in a project, somewhere inside this house. But finding it, and now that I bought these, I'll probably find it. So, but the size I needed for the dress was size 9 needles. Now, I was making a hat for a friend a few years back, and the closest I could find to size 9 double pointed needles were these sock needles. And I really don't care for these. They're just flimsy. And what I did was I kept most of the stitches. Yes, it tangles. Of course it had to do that. But I kept most of the stitches on here. But to keep the tension right, I would have one of these. So always at some point, like you would have stitches on here and a lot of the stitches on here. And then when I knitted, I did knit onto this. If I was knitting the stitches on this needle, yes, I would go around with it. But the stitches on this needle, I would grab the second needle and then knit the stitches onto this, which was driving me crazy, but I did it. I'm so happy I found these. They were a little pricey, yes. They do have the size printed on them, which impressed me. Now, they do have them in wood. I told her, I said, I don't know. I had gotten a free crochet hook with a project, and using it, it broke. And she said, oh, the wood she sells is much better than bamboo. I was like, so used to metal. I can't go wrong with that. So I got the metal. They were a little pricey, yes, but I found them, and I was thinking I probably could have ordered them online. Then I'm paying shipping and handling. let's avoid the shipping and handling. And let's face it, there's nothing like walking into a store and seeing something, holding it in your hands sometimes, like the yarn. It was my birthday, and I didn't buy anything for my birthday because when I do that, I set a limit of $100. If I buy a present for myself, it's a limit of $100. It's got to be something I really want and probably need. I found the yarn. I got the 3 skeins of it. Sport Wave, 100% wool. And if you feel wool, I want to make myself a shawl with this. I got 3 skeins of it. If I do have more left over, I might make a hat to go with it. But I got 3 skeins of it, and the contrast is going to be, it's Cascade fingering. This is also wool. And altogether, I spent $80. And if you think that, oh, that's too much. Well, the needles were $20. The yarn was $17.50. This yarn here was $17.50 a skein. And the other one was $7-something. Oh yeah, $7.25 for this. And if you think that's pricey, you can go and get acrylic, but there's nothing like the feel of wool. And when you think of the farmers have to raise the sheep, they have to shear them, they have to clean the wool, card it, and then make it into yarn. This really isn't that much. Because don't forget, sheep have to be fed, they have to be cared for. This yarn is dyed beautifully. I love it. So I was like, you know what? It is worth it. Because I'm probably going to have this a long, long, long time. And yes, it is a little crazy with these. What I do is when I take it apart, I put it on the 2 chairs and then I wind it into a ball that way. That's just my way of doing it. I don't have any fancy winders or anything. But if you live in Delaware or even Maryland, just check out the Ministry of Yarn, Lower PA. The lady in there was very nice. She was helping this other lady who was crocheting a dress. And she was giving her a lot of good advice. So this place is very nice. Now, I checked it out and it said, oh, closed. I was like, closed? It opens at 2. And it was like 1:57. I was like, okay, I can go. I think the lady runs it by herself. But yeah, it's a really nice shop. Beautiful yarns. And she's having like, I forget what she called it, but there's a lot of skeins there. And they're selling mini skeins. And some people do ask, what do you do with a mini skein? Well, before you spend all this money on wool, like I've worked with wool before, I know how it is. You might want to work with something, make a gauge swatch in the pattern before you actually go and buy the wool. Because you might work up the gauge swatch and be, oh, no, I need a lighter color or a darker color. This will look better maybe in that other yarn I saw. And if you're thinking that you might have a couple of mini skeins and you work it up, oh, yes, okay, now you go back and you buy a different color. So really, a beautiful shop. She's got a lot of beautiful notions in there. And if you want to, go pay her a visit. All right, everybody. Have a good night.